Adult cartoons often walk a fine line between what can and can't be shown on TV.
Good grief, he's naked!
And when a show runs long enough, it's almost inevitable that a controversy will follow. I should know. When I told the internet that it's optimal to microwave ice cream for 7 seconds before consumption, people took to the streets to riot. Today we're going to pick one more controversy from each of South Park, Family Guy, and The Simpsons. This is part 2 of my controversial episodes video. If the cat from Shrek can get his own spin-off movie, I can make a 2-part video and microwave my ice cream, okay? Now there isn't a direct measurement of controversy, so I did some extensive research and carefully crafted this list based on the best Reddit comments I could find. The content of this video will be controversial, so my lawyers have advised me to prepare a defense ahead of time. Oh, I didn't see you there. This video may be controversial, and for that, I'm sorry. Alright, enough yapping in the intro before you downgrade me from the second monitor content to the dreaded third monitor. Let's get into it. If you enjoyed this content, be sure to subscribe. Subscribing is the best way to support what I do here. All subscribers will be protected from stubbing your toe at 3 a.m. If you're subscribed and this has already happened to you, please refer back to my legal defense in the intro. If you want to see more videos like this, feel free to drop suggestions in the comments below. I also have a Discord and we're trying to count to 1 million, one chat message at a time, so come help us out. As always, a massive shout out to our channel members and Patreons for their continued support. I really appreciate it. South Park is considered to be one of the most controversial TV shows in existence. If you haven't been offended by an episode of South Park, you haven't seen enough of the show. That, or you put your brain on autopilot and watch the pretty colors like my 4-month-old does. The list of controversial episodes to pick from in this show is massive. It seems that every season has at least one that rides the line of being outright banned from TV. As we speak, Paramount is even trying to axe about 10 more episodes that every other streaming service is happy to air. Makes me wonder if Paramount even knows what South Park is all about. They might be more clueless than someone trying to find something edible at a Long John Silver's. The episode we are covering today brings objectively far more controversy than any of the other banned episodes ever has. The episode in question is Season 9's Trapped in the Closet. In this episode, South Park takes on the Church of Scientology. Stan is trying to have some fun with the boys without spending any money. This is when Cartman reminds him of a very important law of physics.
Stan, don't you know the first law of physics? Anything that's fun costs at least $8.
Stan decides it would be a fun idea to take a personality quiz instead of doing fun kid things like finding cool sticks to play with. The quiz results just happen to indicate that Stan is depressed, and that Scientology could help him. Only if Stan gives them $240, of course. Stan makes the tough choice to dip into his new bike fund to pay the Scientologist to make him not depressed anymore. Stan's thetan levels are off the charts, resulting in the Scientologist to think he is the reincarnation of L. Ron Hubbard. The Scientologists break this news to Stan, leading to John Travolta and a certain action actor to show up at Stan's house. Stan tells the action star that Leonardo DiCaprio is a better actor than him, leading the action guy to lock himself in the closet, and he will not come out of said closet. R. Kelly shows up periodically throughout the episode, and man, that character cameo has really aged poorly. The Church of Scientology explains the secrets of their religion to Stan, and I don't know anything about Scientology, but according to South Park, this is an accurate representation of what Scientologists actually believe in. The explanation of what they believe in is very interesting to say the absolute least. Stan is tasked with continuing the writings of the church, and Kyle really slams Scientology in this scene.
Look, Stan, we're really getting concerned about this cult you're getting into.
And the irony in Stan's lines is really great as well.
What secret truth? Can't tell you unless you pay for a few years of audit counseling.
If you just pay a small fee, then the church can help you be not depressed or ever feel bad. If it only was that easy. Back to the closet situation, John Travolta has joined the action guy in the closet. Stan adds to the ancient scripture that Scientologists shouldn't have to pay to be in the club. That's when the head of the club portrays his true intentions and that he doesn't actually believe in Scientology. He just wants to make a bunch of money off of people desperate for something to believe in. Stan has morals and doesn't go through with scamming everyone, and now all the believers are going to sue, and I quote, his ass and his balls. At the very least, Stan's closet is now empty and he kept his morals, so W Stan. This episode took a massive swing at the Church of Scientology, claiming it as one giant scam. Personally, I believe it's wrong to try and push a religion onto someone. I will respect you for believing in whatever you choose to. I think it's morally even worse though for a religion to financially drain you just to prove your commitment. This was a great episode of South Park, an all-time classic. I would rank this episode in the upper echelon of the entire series. The controversy that sparked from it would change the show forever though. The episode was pulled from a scheduled rebroadcast to a chef-centric episode as an alleged tribute to Isaac Hayes leaving the show. Allegedly, Action Guy didn't like how this episode portrayed him, threatening to cancel his promotional tour for Mission Impossible 3, and this put immense pressure on Viacom, who owned both Comedy Central and Paramount at the time. Of course, Action Man and his team deny any of this to be true, and the LA Times even coined this controversy as Closetgate. South Park fans tried to strike back at the episode not being re-aired by boycotting Mission Impossible 3, but almost a full year later, Comedy Central did air rebroadcasts of this episode. Perhaps an even larger controversy from this episode was that it caused the departure of Chef's voice actor Isaac Hayes. Isaac Hayes announced he was leaving the show due to intolerance towards Scientology and religious beliefs. Isaac Hayes was a known Scientologist, but ironically he did not say a peep the countless times that South Park slammed other religions. But this episode was enough reason for Isaac Hayes and the character Chef to permanently leave South Park. This episode had massive amounts of controversy, but it was a great episode. Many folks even learned what Scientology was from this episode. It was nominated for an Emmy, eventually losing to The Simpsons. This episode was an absolute circus of buffoonery.
He said it! He said it!
But it had a great message and accurately portrayed Scientology to the best of my knowledge. So big respect to South Park for this one. Family Guy doesn't have nearly as many fun and interesting controversies as South Park does, so I had to dig deep for this one. It was hard to find something that wasn't just the show being blatantly racist or anything to do with Herbert. I don't really stay up to date with the show, but I hope they have written Herbert out by now. Maybe he gets hit by an ice cream truck or something. Wait, I got it. His existence depends on the Cleveland Browns winning more than 5 games this season. That won't happen, but rest assured, I will crash out when they do beat the Steelers this year. We are hopping into the Season 8 episode, Brian and Stewie. A much different type of controversy than the last one. If you weren't sure from the title, this episode is solely focused on Brian and Stewie. They are alone in a bank vault as the door slams shut on them, sealing them inside the vault. To make matters worse, Stewie has soiled his trousers, like a World of Warcraft player in the middle of marathoning a new expansion. Wait, wouldn't the bank have a camera in the vault so things like this couldn't happen? Stewie's proposing that Brian gets rid of the dookie by consuming it because he is a dog?
You what?
Okay, I'm a parent, I can handle this disaster. Stewie should just take the diaper off, use his shirt to wipe his bum, and wear his overalls. If the diaper really smells that bad, they can just put it in the safety deposit box and the problem is solved. Tensions are rising as Stewie wastes his phone's precious remaining battery life to make an unnecessary phone call. Seems kind of out of character for him. Brian feels bad for snapping at Stewie, and he reluctantly agrees to the diaper plan. And this moment is absolutely repulsive. This is one episode that I would always change the channel if it was on. Watching Hannah Montana on Disney Channel was miles better than this episode. The diaper incident is solved, and I can't remember the last time I made it this far into this one. The events have brought Stewie and Brian closer together at least. Brian and Stewie share a little booze that Brian had stacked in his safety deposit box, and I'm not a doctor, but excessive alcohol will likely cause the diaper incident to come back with a vengeance. Stewie and Brian get into a fight when Stewie implies that his life as a dog doesn't have any purpose. Stewie claims that Brian really isn't his friend and he just uses him for amusement, claiming the dirty diaper incident was just Stewie seeing how far he could push Brian. Brian opens up to Stewie, telling him he keeps a weapon in his safety deposit box because it gives him some comfort knowing he always has a way out. Sometimes he struggles to find purpose in his life. Stewie eventually admits to Brian that he loves him and that he is his best friend after all. This part of the episode gets really deep, and it's the first semi-decent segment of the episode. The writing tackling Brian dealing with some depression and his dark thoughts was really good. Eventually, the vault door opens, and Brian carries Stewie out, ending the episode. Well, this episode is actually an hour long, and they fill the rest with classical songs from Family Guy's history. In my opinion, this is one of the top 5 worst episodes of the entire show. But we aren't ranking the episode, so let's talk about the backlash from this one. This episode had very mixed reviews due to the gross out humor and character tones. Throughout the entire episode, Stewie makes some extremely questionable decisions that do not align with his character. This episode tackles some heavy themes and does that really well, but you have to get through some of the show's worst moments to make it there. If you strip away the disgusting diaper parts or the weird drunk dog and baby segments, The serious tones of this episode are really good. This episode shows what Family Guy could be like if they spent more time on creating deeper stories rather than setting up cutaways. If you can make it through the robot chicken, poop your pants, haha funny scenes, you're left with an actual deep episode. Many fans feel this is one of the worst episodes of the entire series. It's a shame that they included the diaper portion, because this episode's take on suicide is really powerful, but most of us can't make it past the disgusting bits of this one. The FCC was even called upon to review portions of this episode, regarding to Brian cleaning Stewie's bum, but nothing ever came of that. The controversy lies more in the fan base. Some claim this to be the show's worst episode, while others enjoy the episode's deeper themes and cutaway-less pacing. Admittedly, there isn't a ton of controversy outside of the fans' split takes on this episode's quality. I've seen a handful of Simpsons episodes outside of the Golden Era. Besides Stark raving dad and the principal and the pauper, there aren't many controversial episodes in the show's history. I was pretty surprised to learn that an almost 40-year-old show had a shockingly low number of episodes that dipped into the unethical side. Either way, this episode will be an interesting dip into the fall off of the show for me. Let's see if it's as bad as everyone says. Simpsons fans will have seen this episode pick coming from a mile away. I mean, it's probably also in the thumbnail, so don't pat yourself too hard on the back there. We're going into the season 12 episode, Homer vs. Dignity. We're celebrating Bart's first A at a fancy restaurant, and it kind of feels like a dream. Bart got an A in astronomy and recalls how exactly this happened. He was trapped in the closet. Wait, this sounds familiar. He was trapped in the closet, forced to study the planets to distract himself, while Principal Skinner and Edna got freaky in the classroom. The Simpsons try to dine and dash and get caught. And in the car, they realize their finances have gotten pretty tight. This moment in the car is a pretty funny clip.
Dad, what happened to the back seat?
I had to sell it for gas money.
They visit a financial planner who just calls them poor and stupid and then asks for payment. Smithers is going on vacation for a week, and Mr. Burns is left to entertain himself. Homer asks Mr. Burns for a raise, and it doesn't go well, but he offers Homer some money to play pranks on the others.
$4?
Hey!
Ow, my eye! I'm not supposed to get pudding in it!
This goes on for a while as Homer continues to increasingly degrade himself for money. Homer continues proving to be terrible with his finances, as he tips the doctor for giving unneeded shots to Bart and Lisa. That's like tipping LeBron James for making a three-pointer. Mr. Burns gets Homer to dress up as a panda at the zoo and do a dance. The resident male panda at the zoo comes out and Homer accidentally falls into a suggestive position. It's not shown, but the audience is led to believe that Homer and the male panda did the birds and the bees. This scene was pretty uncomfy, as Homer wasn't a willing participant in what occurred. He even asked Mr. Burns for help, and he just laughed at him. Actual troglodyte behavior from Mr. Burns. Mr. Burns is about as reliable as the McDonald's ice cream machine. Homer, feeling massive amounts of shame, uses the money he earned to donate a bunch of toys to some kids. This ends up making Homer the Santa of the Thanksgiving parade, and Mr. Burns is trying to use this as leverage for another prank. Homer doesn't take the money, but he still allows Mr. Burns to throw fish guts all over the parade viewers. So did he really keep his dignity? If he had any dignity, he wouldn't have allowed Mr. Burns to prank the kids who just wanted to see Santa. This episode was pretty below average. A few funny moments, but that panda scene and everything after it was pretty awful. Wonder what kind of backlash they got from that scene. This episode was very negatively received by critics. This one stands out as infamous among a growing list of Simpsons flops, mainly due to the panda scene. Many fans consider the panda scene to be one of the lowest points in the show's entire history. Johnny D even went as far as suggesting they rename the phrase from jumping the shark to diddled by the panda. Another point of controversy is that a lot of the material in this episode was recycled from previous Simpsons episodes. The Simpsons dealing with financial issues, Homer being Mr. Burns' assistant, and a few other themes had already been covered by the show. They even completely reused a joke from season 5 where Mr. Burns was confused about there being a New Mexico.
A small theater in New Mexico.
Whoa, slow down there, maestro. There's a New Mexico?
I thought this episode was pretty rough around the edges. The ongoing bit where Lenny gets pudding in his eye is a lone bright spot.
So 5 minutes a day.
Hey, that's just enough time to see Santa Claus.
Ah! Why, Santa? Why?
The panda scene felt unneeded to me, and the shock value that they were going for just didn't connect. I can understand how many fans consider this to be one of the lowest points of the entire series. There we have it, 3 more controversies from the 3 titans of adult animation. Originally, I was planning on discussing a King of the Hill episode as well, but my script has gotten long enough as it is. It's no surprise that South Park delivered the biggest controversy of the day. South Park's controversy changed the entire show's trajectory, and caused conflict between media companies when it came to re-airing it. I can't think of another show where a single episode caused a long-standing character to willingly leave the show. The other two controversies were more shocking and gross moments that left the fanbase divided. Family Guy's episode had some deep themes, buried in a bad episode but some gut-wrenching moments, while the Simpsons episode had a very shocking moment in a largely recycled episode. These controversies pale in comparison to the magnitude of South Park's, but they're still divisive episodes in their own rights. If the need ever arises for a part 3 to this video, what series and episodes would you like to see covered? If you enjoyed the content, please be sure to subscribe. If you want to join our growing community, a link to the Discord is in the description. If you made it to the end of the video, I truly appreciate you. Thanks for watching.